Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today I am talking about the sixth generation Camaro ZL1 1LE and why I think it is the best track car you can buy for the money. So before we get into this review, you might be asking yourself, who the heck is this guy and what does he know about the track? So I figured it's only fair that I share some of my experience with you. So I've been competing in time attack for many years now with the Winnipeg Sports Car Club. And in 2018, 2019, and 2020, I was your first place champion. In 2020, I was also awarded by the WCMA, which is the Western Canadian Motorsport Association, the Soloist of the Year. And in 2021, I was awarded the Driver of the Year by the Winnipeg Sports Car Club. So just to put it out there, I do have my fair share of track experience. On top of all of that, I have probably turned in excess of, I don't even know, a few thousand laps around different tracks, including our local track in Gimli, Manitoba. I've been out to Castrol Raceway out in Edmonton. I've ran at Stratotech in Edmonton. I ran at Brainerd in the States, and hoping to do a lot more in due time. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into why the ZL1 1LE is just so damn good. Let's start off talking about the tires. So Chevrolet did something different than a lot of the competitors did. And now whenever I want to talk about competitors, I like to talk about the high-end track competitors out there, your Ferraris, your Lambos, your McLarens, your Porsches, and stuff like that. Most of those cars run a 305 tire in the back. Chevrolet did something, in my opinion, and this is the secret sauce to most of the success of the car, is put the 305s up front. So they run this ZL1 1LE runs a 305 3019 in the front and a 325 3019 in the rear, making this car truly a grip monster that will compete and shake down almost anything in the corners, including the most nimblest of cars, your Honda S2000s, your Miatas, obviously your GT3 RSs and stuff like that too. The Camaro will hang with pretty much anything in a corner. So the other thing that Chevrolet did, in my opinion, that just gave them an absolute huge level up compared to the competitors was they collaborated with Goodyear to make tires specific for this car. And those tires were the Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3R. So most of your competing cars that are out there on a track day, especially your high-end cars, typically always run a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. Now the Cup 2 is a phenomenal tire, but it is nowhere near as good as the Supercar 3R. And a lot of that comes down to the treadwear ratings. The Cup 2 is rated at 180 treadwear, while the Supercar 3R is rated at 100 treadwear. Once again, as I like to call it, a monster of grip. So not only does the Camaro run better tires than its competitors, it also runs cheaper tires than its competitors too. And that to me is a huge perk, especially if you're doing lots of track days. The Goodyears are on average $100 to $150 per tire cheaper than the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. So let's talk about the brakes on the ZL1. So the car gets equipped with 6-piston Brembo calipers up front, 4-piston caliper Brembos in the rear. And I want to say your front rotors are a 2-piece 15.5-inch rotor, and in the rear about a 14.5-inch rotor. The brakes on the ZL1 are phenomenal. There's many times I've been out on the track and have almost pretty much hung your passenger off of the seatbelt going into strong braking zones. The brakes are literally top notch. Now, saying that, is there carbon ceramics and stuff like that on some of the competitor vehicles that might be a little bit better? Sure, of course, right? I mean, carbons are the best of the best, as they say out there, right? But the reality is this video is talking about the best track car for the money. And one of those things I think you need to factor in is your wearable cost. So your carbon ceramic bill to replace brakes whenever that time comes, I'm assuming is north of $10,000. I don't know, I don't own one, but I can only imagine the cost is well north of 10 grand to do carbons, where the cost to do your brakes on your Camaro, for example, your front pads, $250 US for your factory pads right off of Rock Auto, or your front rotors, big monster 2-piece rotors you can buy for about $400 US per rotor. So your wearable cost is insanely cheaper than some of those competing vehicles that you can run with on the track. The Zl1 1Le does get different suspension components from its counterparts as well. It receives Multimatic DSSV dampers, which you can as well rotate 180 degrees to get more track camber out of the setup as well, to get you an additional negative 2.7 degrees camber, which obviously gives you, once again, a leading edge out on the racetrack. So let's talk about the engine. The Zl1 1Le gets equipped with a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged LT4 motor that produces 650 horsepower and an absolutely mind-blowing 650 foot-pounds of torque. This will let you hang with all of your supercar buddies, and none of them will be able to escape you in a straight line when you are on the road course. The transmission options, you can have a 6-speed manual with rev match, or you can also have a 10-speed auto with paddle shifting as well. That is amazing on the road course. So this blue car behind me is actually my car. And the one thing that I absolutely love about this motor that's in here, this LT4, is whenever you do decide to potentially modify them, in the case of my car, it's on headers with an X pipe in it. In my opinion, it makes probably one of the coolest sounds you've ever heard, which you can listen to at the end of this video, because there is a little clip here of me chasing an ACR Extreme around. And once again, the sound of the Camaro is absolutely out of this world. As for aero, the Zl1 1Le gets equipped with a larger front splitter than the Zl1. It gets these massive dive planes that you can see right here. And it gets a very big carbon wing out back, which I believe creates 300 pounds of downforce, which obviously helps with obtaining higher cornering speeds. So what I find interesting is this whole time you guys have been hearing me talk about the competitors, the Lambos, the Porsches, the Ferraris, the McLarens. But the funny part is this car was never built to compete with those cars. This car was built to compete with the Mustang. It was built to compete with the Challenger. And even if you take the specialty lines like the Shelby GT350 or even a Hellcat, this Zl1 1Le on a road course would absolutely obliterate those cars. And therefore, that's why this whole video has been me talking and ranting and raving about why this is the best track car for the money. This car will compete with supercars. But whenever you look at it and look at the competing price points, your Ferrari, your Lambo, your Porsche, your McLaren are 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount of money than a Zl1 1Le. Once again, bringing me to the whole point that this is, in fact, the best track car you can buy for the money. So for everyone that's made it this far, you might be thinking to yourself, man, this guy talks a big game, but does he just know how to read a brochure? Or is there any factual evidence that goes along with what I'm claiming? Well, guys, I want to leave you off with a video of me chasing around a 2017 ACR Extreme around our local track in Gimli, Manitoba. Now, for everyone that is out there that races at any level, you guys know the ACR Extreme is the best track car, period. It literally sets records every single place it goes. And this clip of me chasing it, I apologize, the track's bumpy, it's rough, it's dirty. It's what we have to work with here in Winnipeg, just outside of Winnipeg up in Gimli. But it is being piloted by a very, very talented driver. So it's not like it's a driver mod thing that's going on. But yeah, take a look and you guys decide for yourselves. Well, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please do take it easy on me, as this is the first time I've ever done a car review video. If you like the content, please make sure to subscribe. It would really help me get ahead with my small little channel here. And I'd love to do some more videos going forward. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.